AI is fast, you are deep. 3 deep skills that AI now demands at every level. AI is the fastest thinker the world has ever built. It can read more in a second than you could read in a lifetime, and it answers without a flicker of a doubt. But it doesn't have to hold the weight of judgment. Live with the consequences. Read the person who's at the table with you. The PwC 2026 Jobs Barometer scanned 1 billion job postings. What it found is that the new work is 2.5 times more likely to lean on 3 key human skills: judgment, empathy, and creativity. These 3 skills are suddenly more in demand at every level, not just senior levels, but the junior levels too. All this is happening while AI is quickly doing the fast work that used to build these skills. The fast work is leaving, the deep work is what's left, and it has never been worth more. The research on how people work is exploding. I'm Michael Bruner. I help translate that research into ideas you can use to be more effective. By the end of this video, you'll see why the fast work is disappearing and why the reps that used to grow your deep skills are being done by AI. Learn the 3 deep skills that AI can't copy no matter how fast it gets: judgment, empathy, and creativity. Let's jump straight in. In 2011, psychologist Daniel Kahneman described 2 modes of thinking in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow. System 1 is fast, automatic, and confident. It pattern matches in an instant and hands you an answer before you even realize that you're thinking. System 2 is slow, deliberate, more effortful. It checks, it weighs, it decides. Artificial intelligence began as the most powerful System 1 ever built. Pattern matching at planetary scale, blinding speed, and utter self-assurance. And the newest models go even further and start to imitate System 2 thinking. They can weigh alternatives, critique their own drafts, argue both sides. What a machine still can't do, though, is own the judgment, decide what actually matters, accept responsibility for the outcome, and live with the consequences. That is not a gap that the next model closes. It is the line between processing and judgment, between machine and human, and it maps to what is vanishing from our work. For the most of corporate history, the bottom of every job was routine. Pull the data, format the report, run the standard analysis, draft the first version. That work was tedious, but it was also the training ground. You did the fast, simple work for years. And somewhere along the way in those repetitions, you absorbed judgment. You learned to read people and what they were looking for. You built the nerve to take a creative risk when you saw a better way. We called this result seniority. Really, it was just a set of deep skills picked up along the way through practice. But the AI machine ate the routine. The data pull, the formatting, the analysis, the first draft. All done in seconds. The fast work is gone. And the apprenticeship that came with it is gone too. What is left is the deep work, and that's what's being demanded more than ever on every level. The 2026 Global Jobs Barometer analyzed more than 1 billion job ads across 27 countries. The new tasks being added to AI-exposed roles are 2.5 times more likely to rely on judgment, empathy, and creativity. The roles built on those human skills are seeing twice the job growth and 42% higher salary growth than the roles AI simply automates. AI-exposed junior roles are now 7 times more likely to demand traditionally senior-type skills than the junior roles that AI barely touches. Let's jump straight into the 3 deep skills that are so needed in this age of AI. Deep skill 1, judgment. Judgment isn't knowing the answer. It's knowing what to do when there is no answer. This is the one the machine can't fake and that we understand the least. We confuse judgment with intelligence. They're not the same thing. Intelligence processes just what's in front of it. Judgment decides what should be in front of it in the first place. What to weigh, what to ignore, what's at risk. Neuroscientists locate this work largely in the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center. In plain terms, judgment's very metabolically expensive. It runs on the same complex circuitry used for self-control and complex planning. That's why it degrades when you're tired or rushed or flushed with information. This is System 2 work, and System 2 is effortful by design. Here's the trap that AI sets. It gives you a confident answer in seconds. And confidence feels like correctness, but it's not. The machine's speed and output make it feel finished. So you accept it the way you accept your own gut, without a second look. Think about this. Imagine sketching an idea on a whiteboard live. People see it for what it is. Put that same idea on a slide with perfect formatting and a perfect font, and the polish lies for it. It's the same content, but it looks finished. It's still just a draft. Label it as such. The machine's fluency is like that slide. It comes off looking so polished and so perfect. Judgment comes down to one small repeatable move. The pause. The half second before you accept the correct answer. Where System 2 gets to ask, wait, was this actually right? That pause is the whole skill in miniature. The machine cannot perform it itself. You can, but only if it's practiced. So build the pause on purpose. Before you ask the AI, write down what you think and why. Then compare. That gap between your judgment and the machine's assessment is the classroom. Interestingly enough, you can actually ask the machine to pressure test its work, to challenge assumptions, to see if it holds muster. But at the end of the day, the machine doesn't take responsibility for the decision. You do. Deep skill 2 is empathy. Empathy is not being nice. It's understanding what's going on in somebody else's head and their heart. In the workplace, empathy isn't just softness. It's perception, the ability to read the unspoken, the hidden objection, the fear behind the polite question. The Greek is empatheia, feeling into. It's a simple idea. You feel your way into another's head. Here's what's happening in the brain. We run what researchers call a theory of mind, a built sense of what another person believes, intends, and feels. And we don't just calculate, we can feel it with them. Scientists call this resonance or attunement. Think of attunement as an instrument. You don't force a note, you listen and adjust until you're in tune with what's already there. Empathy is an attunement to another person. You tune to their stakes, to their fears, to their hope, and you keep adjusting as they shift. When you hold space for someone and tune in like this, two things happen. You get more accurate about what they actually need. And secondly, they sense that you care. That felt sense of being understood is what helps a person open up, trust you, and follow you. The quality of your influence is sort of capped by how well you can be in tune. Misread the person and even the brilliant idea lands flat. You already do this at home with the people you know best. You can tell from across the kitchen which version of I'm fine you just got. That's attunement. But at work, under pressure and complex conditions, when things are rushed and you don't know the people, it's harder. Many people just never turn it on. This is where many professionals get stranded. You can be the smartest person in a room and still fail to move it because you tuned into the problem instead of the people. Your idea was right, but you read the room wrong. The decision went the other way and you called it politics. AI is fluent, but it is not attuned. It can generate a sympathetic sounding paragraph in an instant, just like that. But it can't sit with a colleague and feel the real objection that they haven't said yet. It doesn't care. And people can tell. So hold space and tune in and be present on purpose. Before a conversation, name the other person's real concern. Afterward, find out if you were right. Empathy is attunement that gets truer every time you check it against what just happened. Deep skill 3, creativity. Creativity isn't just having ideas. It's connecting things that don't obviously belong together. This is the most understood of the three because we treat creativity as a personal state, something you either have or you don't. It isn't. Creativity is a skill of association, the capacity to pull from one domain and connect it to another. And it's precisely the skill that AI makes more valuable, not less. Here's why. Generative AI at its core is a recombination machine, the purest System 1 ever built. It can produce 1,000 variations on what exists almost instantly. What it can't do is decide which of the unexpected combinations actually matters, or sense that an idea from a completely unrelated field is key to your problem. That selection, that taste, that leap is uniquely human. Picture a library. The machine reshelves the books in seconds. You're the librarian who knows that the book on jazz improvisation actually belongs next to the book on emergency room triage, because they're secretly about the same thing, making good decisions fast with incomplete information. The unexpected shelf mate is the whole skill. The engine would never pair those two together. It has no reason to. You do, because you've lived in both of those rooms. And here's what happens when everyone has the same engine. If the machine generates the obvious ideas instantly and for free, the obvious ideas are now worth a lot less. Their price heads towards zero. The most valuable ideas may be the non-obvious ones, the shelf mates that the machine would never pair. So stock the library in advance. Leaders are readers. Read outside your field. Collect problems and analogies and tools. Creativity is not a faucet you turn on when you need an answer. Creativity is the shelf that you fill long before. The machine recombines what exists. You now decide which things should be combined together to create the most value. The decision is the job now. So take a step back and think about all three. Judgment, empathy, and creativity. Pause, holding space, and the shelf mate. They're all very human work that the fastest machine on earth still can't do. Every one of those skills used to be the reward you got from surviving long enough to earn it. In the age of AI, they're becoming the price of entry. But here's the part that nobody puts in the job posting, and it's the whole game. The skills that AI can't do are the exact skills that make you good at using AI. Judgment tells you which of the AI confident answers was the right one. Empathy tells you about the context the AI model might be missing for the human in the room who has to receive the work. Creativity is the non-obvious prompt, the connection the engine would never make on its own. These deep skills are not a wall that you hide behind to survive the machine. They are the controls to the machine. They're the ones that decide whether AI makes you more valuable or just like anybody else holding the tool. Pick the next decision that you normally run straight to the machine. Before you ask, take a pause. Write down your own judgment first. Then compare it to the machine's thinking. That gap you find is not a weakness. It's the exact muscle that the market is paying more to find. And it's that muscle that turns the fast machine into your advantage instead of your replacement. The machine is fast. Be deep on purpose. Subscribe for weekly ideas on turning research into practical advantage. Come and discover your secret weapon.